Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting time for you. My co-founders Aaron Moore, Tim Porter and myself, we're on a mission. Our mission is to help you create amazing work. You see, we're designers and developers just like yourself, and we've created ZARO. ZARO for us is more than just a product, it's a philosophy of how to design, how to be inspired, how to come together as a community to create stuff that is just mind-blowing and the best version of your work. But today I'm thrilled to be launching our beta that you can use. And I'm going to take you through an example where, let's say you're a freelancer and you want to create a website for a client, and we'll use ZARO to show you those workflows. But the important thing is the ZARO that we're launching today is a start. It's a start to invite you to a journey where you can help shape how this product evolves. You can learn along the way. You can join a community of designers and developers who really do aspire to be creating the best work, to collaborate with others at creating the best work as a team. So I hope you enjoyed the ZARO. Do reach out to us. Tell us how you perceive what it means to you and what features and what challenges you have that you would like to see happen. Because I can guarantee one thing, if you're using another tool out there, you probably don't have a voice at how that product is shaped. I know we've used some tools for a number of years, and quite frankly, they don't seem like they've changed at all. They're stuck in an old way of thinking. We have a new way of thinking. We believe in a philosophy around design and development, and we want you to be part of that. So that's what ZARO is. The ZARO beta used today is the starting point. The ZARO that you will use in a couple of weeks' time and a couple of weeks after that and continue will just be incrementally more enriching at allowing you to create your best work. Now let me show you how ZARO looks. This is the beta in front of me here, and I've got 4 projects with various configurations. I'm just going to show you through the features. So for example, you might just have a simple Kanban project, and you can create these. By default, you will have a to-do, in progress, complete set of lanes. When you go into ZARO, you can obviously remove these lanes or you can add new lanes, no problem at all. I personally don't tend to manage my projects like this unless I'm doing maybe a day-to-day kind of set of tasks, but bigger projects I like to manage in a different way. But let me just show you. You can create new cards, really simple. You just hit the plus symbol and type the card. You click on a card and you get your information panel. Here you can set a description, some description like so, and then that goes into the card. You can color code them. You can say I'm focusing on this one. Just notice that focus and in progress is kind of the same thing in this setup, so you may not use that. Then you may say this is high priority, medium priority, high priority. If you're in a collaborative mode, so you're we call these companies where you've invited other people, then you would say who the owner is. And when we have freelancers, they'll be able to invite their clients into projects, but that's not in the beta at this stage. And due date, you can set those. So I'm just going to get rid of this task here by clicking here and going delete task. Okay, so that task is gone. So here I have a task, like, let's say I'm working on the website requirements. I'm going to drag that into the in progress column, and I can make notes in there, and eventually it'll go to the complete, and then I move on to the specification. And in a Kanban way, your whole project sort of flows through this state where you end up completing your project all the way through to the end. Some of the cool things, you can multi-select in ZARO, so I could multi-select, set a deadline, and set some colors and priorities and drag those in one go. So that's really cool. You can do lots of things in one kind of swoop, and we very much like that in terms of how we design ZARO. That's a really simple project. But moving on, you might then have, say, a more complex project, and you might want to employ some kind of user experience strategy. This is where ZARO is really going to be honing in on the tools around this. This is just a very basic kind of representation. Eventually, you'll be able to have much richer interface to manage these. So a project might say, by next Friday, I need to have done the mission, the brand story, the personas, KPIs, which are key performance indicators. So this is the bit that tells you that your project is a success or not. Maybe do an existing website review if the client's building a new website, and what the user flows, as in how the client wants the user to interact, or how the personas interact with the solution. Ideation might have a mood board, some style inspiration, some concepts and mock-ups. If you're doing like brand design or logo design, you want to pull in maybe emotive words that represent the brand, some kind of brand story to go with that, color scheme and shapes, and like you want to bring it all together in some kind of inspiration board before you create your mock-ups. Then you have user stories. So these aren't user stories that I've got in here. These are just kind of like top level things, but essentially a user story would be, as a persona, I want to look at the homepage so I know that this company sells what I want, kind of thing, right? So you would write these more richly and describe these better. And then moving over, you've got the specification. You might have a technical spec, a front-end spec, a content spec, and if it's a website, an SEO spec, so you've got to rank on Google. You might have some testing and feedback, so the tasks that manage that side of things, A/B testing, in-person testing. You've got your development cycle, you've got your sign-off, all these kind of things. And here, again, you can just click into them. You say, right, I'm focusing on this at the moment. So when someone looks at the board, they know exactly what's being worked on. And it's not trying to find things out of a big list in a backlog. They've actually separated a nice logical way. And I'll show you another example of how we do that. So we might have, say, blog content. So you might have a backlog of pieces of work. Now, this is a very simple way of managing content and isn't actually how I would manage a blog content in a project that I would do. So if you're using a competitor product, they would probably prescribe this method. So you say, right, we're going to do a piece on top design trends of 2019, and you go and write that in WordPress or wherever, and basically you drag it through the process until you complete it. And you can use the dates then to represent your release schedule. Now, where we want to go with ZARO is that your content piece is a collection of other pieces of work, such as your persona, your user experience, what the headline's going to be, your keyword research, your assets, your notes, then your actual content piece, and then you have things like the thumbnail graphic for putting out on social media, and then what that blog post looks like in social media. Like, that's a whole story, because when you're thinking in a user experience perspective, it's the user on Twitter or Facebook or whatever that sees your post, and then they follow that story all the way through to consuming that content. We'll be covering a lot more of this through our blog to talk about these techniques. I'm not going to cover that in this beta video. I'm only demoing the core software at the moment. And then the other thing is you create projects, and the project is like a Kanban board. Eventually it will be other types of projects as well, but right now we're doing Kanban. They can be organized in spaces. So I've got spaces here. For example, I've got a content marketing space, I've got a content team space and a development team space, and spaces can either be personal spaces. So as a freelancer, I may have my own personal spaces, then I might include a client into that space. Can't do that in the beta at the moment. Or I can create a company, and let's say I'm an agency, my awesome agency. I can go into there, and then I can see the projects within there and the spaces within there. And then again, I might have 2 team members. And that means when I am now working on a project like this, I can assign tasks to my team members. Like, I'll do this piece, they'll do that piece. And this is how we start building up the collaborative workflow of everything. So now we can manage the team tasks. So everybody knows what's been assigned to them, when they've got to do it by, and what kind of state it's in. So if Jessica here on my team sets that to focus, I know that's what she's working on. If she sets it to complete, I know it's done. If it's blocked, I can ask her where we all need to pull together and unblock it. And if it's in review, then you presumably change the state to whoever's reviewing it. And that's really, really simple. This is essentially the beta of ZARO. We are working really hard to get rid of all the bugs. we have a lot of bugs to fix, but that's fine. That's what makes a product robust. And what we are going to be doing is now adding all the core additional features. And to give you an idea of where we're going with this, let's take a content piece. Let's say I'm writing a piece on top design trends of 2019. Within here, that task is something I can manage through a workflow, but will contain all the story, everything from personas right through to the analytics and everything between, who it's designed for, what it looked like on social media, what the content was, what the comments were through that design process. And we can showcase that when someone needs to sign that off in the team, they see the end-to-end. And that's great for teams, but now imagine you're a student doing design work and you're trying to create your Dribble account and you want to produce some really beautiful designs of some kind of maybe a new take on social media network or a health app or something. The problem with that as an employer is that you look at the final product, but you don't know how they got there. You don't know the thinking behind it. You don't know if they got lucky at producing that design or whether they've got a robust set of techniques to achieve that. But with ZARO, you'll be able to showcase your work all the way through that design thinking to the final product. And that becomes your portfolio that you could then send to a potential employer. And immediately they know what you're worth in terms of your capability. So this really exciting. It's going to work brilliantly for freelancers to communicate with their clients and really show that they know what they're doing and the communication's rich and well thought out. In teams, everybody's going to know what the context is so that when there's a discussion about a certain piece, they know who they're designing it for and they know what they did in the past and all these things. A product manager can sign off work by seeing it all rather than signing off just the final output but not really understanding how they got there. And students can obviously improve their design communication through this that can get them jobs. And this is our core philosophy. So that's the beta. Do try it out. You can find it on app.zaro.io. It's completely free to sign up. Obviously, it's a beta. There will be bugs. There will be features you wish they had. It's not ready for you to move from your other tools if you're using another tool straight in. But what it does give you is an opportunity to join this journey and see where we go with it and make your voice heard of what's important to you. And I'll say this, we want this to be free for students, freelancers, anyone who's a creative. Absolutely free. However, we will be charging companies when there's working collaboration and team because that makes sense. Companies are designed to make profit. Creators are designed to create. And if you're a freelancer, we know what that's like. Tools are expensive. We don't want to burden you with more expense. We'd rather you use ZARO for your freelance work and introduce it to the companies you work for so they can use ZARO and pay for it and give that to you for free. So this is really exciting for us. It falls in line with our core mission. And yeah, send us feedback to, you can send it to myself, martin@zaro.io, and would love to hear how you're using it, how you want to use it, what problems you're facing, what you actually think of it, and whether you just get it or don't get it. And one of the questions I love asking, what is your objection? What's stopping you moving from the tool you have? The more we understand that, that little feature is the make or break that you love in your workflow. We want to make sure that we tick all those boxes and give you the product you deserve. Thank you very much.